Maintenance on this saw is absolutely minimal. It's a fantastic machine. The bearings, you don't have to worry about those. They are all sealed. This is in the blade guides and also the main bearings on the top wheel and the lower wheel of the bandsaw. They're all sealed. Leave them alone. Things that you do need to check on, possibly every 6 months or so, is the condition of the tires on the top wheel and the bottom wheel, the condition of the multi-V-belt in the bottom section here that drives the bottom wheel, which in turn drives the blade. Keep an eye on the micro switch that you don't get any dust building up around that switch. And also on the motor, make sure that there's no dust buildup. One other thing that you want to keep your eye on, not a lot, but every now and then, the height adjustment mechanism in the rack and pinion. You'll see that the top section has got some grease on it. Maybe put a little bit of grease on there every now and then. Keep an eye on the cast iron table. Cast iron is prone to getting a little bit of rust, so make sure that you keep it clean and lubricated, and some kind of a protectant for cast iron, such as Silver Glide. That works fine. The next thing I'm going to talk about as part of the maintenance is changing a blade. Now, if you find a blade becomes dull and starts to burn a little bit, you need to replace it. Changing the blade, the first thing we do is we disconnect the power. Very, very important. You're going to have your hands all around this blade and touching the blade. You do not want the machine to start. Next thing to do, remove the fence and the miter gauge. We'll pop them to the side. Remove the bolt on the side that keeps the tables in one level, because we have to bring the blade through here. Also the table insert, we need to remove that. It's just a matter of pushing it up from underneath. Watch your fingers don't come near the teeth of the blade. Relax all of the guide bearings fully away from the blade. Now that we do that with 2 motions, we release both these bearings away from, and also the thrust race at the back. Pull it back. And we do the same underneath on the bottom. Now we need to raise the blade guard up to level or just below level of the axle. Now we take it up to there because if you're up above the axle, it will be awkward to get that blade off and out through this slot here. We have the door open already because the blade is in that part of the guard. The next thing to do is to detension the saw. To relax the blade so we can remove it, we need to push the lever all the way up. Now the blade is quite loose. I'll turn it back around. Okay, I have gloves on. I'm going to be protected from the teeth on the blade. Remove it by keeping this straight and pull it out like so. On the other side, bring it through as well, out of the guard. And then we can rotate the blade all the way around, and without damaging the blade, slide it through the slot. And it's out. Now I will also show you how to fold the blade at this stage. You put your foot, hand around this way, your foot on there, and you simply push down and twist. And there it is. Now I'm going to put another blade on, and the good thing about this saw, it has a blade storage compartment down the bottom here. This is where I keep the spares. Okay, so we open up the new blade, like so, and then we look at what's happening, like so. Got it. Okay, now we tension the blade. Now the chart in the book tells us for a 3/8 blade or a 10mm blade, we set it to tension between 2 and 3. So I'll tighten that up. The insert has got 2 little lugs that have got to line up with the holes here to make sure that it's in the correct position. If they don't line up, the insert will be sitting proud. So you must make sure that they go into the holes. And then we replace this bolt. And there we have it. And I'm going to turn it slowly to check the tracking. Bring all of the guide bearings and the thrust race back into the correct position, which is just behind the gullet and just kissing the blade. That's easy. Now here's the thing. If we're going to change the actual size of the blade, remember this machine takes between 3 and 20 millimeter blades. If we're going to change the size, we need to bring the whole blade guide assembly back. Now that's done not by these little quick adjusts here, but there's a 5 millimeter Allen key screw just here. Now we release that and we can pull it back. Now you may not see it move a lot, but it did move. So I can move it forwards or back. The reason we do that is so that we can then position this front bearing so that it is not going to flatten the kerf out on our blade. Very, very important. Now we do it up the top with that, and then down the bottom I've got a camera set right up on the guide down here. You'll see right here there's another Allen screw down here. We can release that, which lets us move the blade guides forwards and backwards, the whole assembly. There you go. Now when you've got the blade all tensioned up and everything ready to go again, slide those back into position and continue on with how I've told you. When everything is back how it should be, close the door. And lower the blade guard assembly to almost all the way down, turn it on and test. And as I mentioned in the safety section, earmuffs and eye protection. Whenever you turn a saw on, that's the emergency stop. You have to undo it and then we'll turn it on. Running well. I'm going to look in the side here and keep my eye on how it's tracking. That's running beautifully. If I want to adjust the tracking, it's a matter of relaxing the locking lever and turning the mount for the top wheel counterclockwise to advance the blade forwards, clockwise to retard it to the back of the tire. And off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Blade has stopped. Thanks for watching. Keep on coming back. Carbatec have got a whole lot more videos coming your way.